today is about making those connections, right? Meeting each other, making a connection, seeing someone you don't know, and make sure you leave and you know them. Okay? That's what we're talking about today. But in specific, today is about supplier diversity. And that is why we've invited some wonderful leaders to come up and to be on panels and to speak about the progress that they're making in their organization and talk about the importance and why this is such a critical time for us to not step away, not pull back from, but to push into goals towards equity.
I'm not a quitter. I'm not looking for a quick solution. I don't think there is a quick solution. I get the joy of making a difference in individual companies and individual people's lives. That keeps me motivated to work hard over the long term to make a big difference.
We're asking you today to open your minds to a different way of thinking about Black and diverse suppliers.
It really taught me that you could make a difference sort of one person at a time. And I'd like to contrast, if you think about there are these contrasts of, how do we get the joy and the positive impact of helping someone, helping a diverse vendor, helping a few diverse vendors, helping individual employees or prospective employees. That doesn't seem like the kind of thing that matches up with how do we create a massive movement to solve this problem right away. They are two different things, and I would just argue that they are both equally necessary.
The current model says that the secret to success for Black and diverse firms is certification and education. The reality is those models have not worked for the majority of firms. If you simply look at the numbers, 0.5% of all the firms in Washington state are Black owned, and 0.2% of all the revenue in the state of Washington goes to those firms. Nationwide, Black employers own 2.7% of all businesses on 12.6% of the population.
Point is that it's very clear, easy to understand, obvious racism in the construction industry that I joined. And it's 50 years later, and we still have not done even the beginnings of the things that we need to do.
To negotiate and compromise on a process where we implemented a self-attestation process for suppliers up to a certain spend threshold. And that really was a game changer for us about 3 years ago. When we did that, we were able to increase our diverse supply base by 30%.
And start referring to our Black and diverse firms as excellent in their work product and world-class instead of referring to these firms as small and disadvantaged.
So the McKinstry team did this fantastic thing. They looked at the baseline, said we were, and they went out and listened to our vendors. And of course, we had many diverse vendors. And they actually had a tracking system that showed some of my committee members our beautiful little pie charts that come from Microsoft, ABIs, that these dashboards we create. We can see every purchase order, every place where we buy them, who we bought it from, and data is important. Something we really learned early on in this journey with the supplier task force is if you don't have the data, you're not going to have any chance of knowing whether you're bending the curve on this.
Two of the examples of the committed executives who've come to the table around where. And so I'm just so excited to hear their voices and channel that for you guys today as demonstrations of the potential that we have as a coalition. So excited for all the work we have to.
Just getting the rest of the team engaged, my team, so that we can understand how to properly do business with Microsoft. That's a learning curve, and we have to make sure everyone kind of is locking step strategically so that we don't make a mistake. We don't get a tick box and then frustrate the client. So we were able to do that just with work. That's that.
Overcoming barriers, building on agility, efficiency, resilience, and determination can help MBEs outperform larger, more resource companies.
The crux of the matter around certification is that it's not a metric that decides success for Black and diverse businesses. It actually just puts another barrier in place. I've not seen any metrics that show that firms win more business, garner more revenue, or are more profitable than like-kind firms. Lastly, the committee suggests finding ways to get these firms financing and access to capital.
How does a business actually become certified? And sometimes when we're talking about certification, I've heard from businesses and working with Weir some concerns about like, oh, it's too slow or it's too complicated or I can't figure it out. Can you talk a little bit about like how do you become certified? How long does it take usually? And have you taken any steps to try to make it simpler or faster for businesses that want to be part of the certification pool?
Entrepreneurs think that, for one, this thing is overnight, and it's not, but really becoming a student of your company, understanding what infrastructure looks like, understanding how to do business once you get into a position to where you're able to do business with the bigger companies.
This is part of the requirement for the federal certification. State certification, same type of format, but that one we have up to 60 days to process those. Right now we're at 45 days. I think some of the hurdles that businesses may have to go through is it's all online, so there's the technology piece. So if you're not familiar with filling out online applications, uploading documents, things like that, that could be a hurdle for you to get through. Then the paperwork and the documents, like getting all those things together. Sometimes businesses, mostly they struggle, but sometimes they don't keep track of that because they're a small business. They're the only one in the business, and so that's additional time away from getting contracts or working on contracts to get all that gathered together. But we do have technical assistance throughout the week. If you go to our website again, on wbe.wa.gov, there's a technical assistance number and email that you could contact. That's operated by the certification analyst. So you're working with someone who works on the application, so they'll be able to answer any questions that you have.
You can change the perception of these Black and diverse businesses by changing the narrative and making it a reality by making sure businesses get contracts from your organization and then subsequently get paid on time. This is purely an economic issue and always has been. The Federal Reserve demonstrated that the economic pie actually gets bigger when all market participants are included in the American economic engine.
I need to be held accountable like all others with incumbent power. I feel proud of my partners at McKinstry and of myself to a degree, and having built a pretty good sized business. And that business has extraordinarily great values, fantastic aspirations, and a deep-rooted commitment to make a difference and to do things with purpose.
I'm excited for us to put our foot on the accelerator against those commitments to progress, put more events like this on the map, but also do a lot of the other broad set of programming that we know actually advances towards that equitable outcome for all